Alright, so welcome back, welcome back. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about weapon weight systems and how you can incorporate them into your FPS multiplayer template. Sorry if I start coughing or have any kind of sniffles during this, I am sick, but I still got to create content for you guys. So anyway, let's get right to it. Open up your FPS multiplayer template in Unreal. Open up the FPS, go to Blueprints, then go to Data Assets, then go to Weapon Settings Data. Open up PDA Weapon Settings Data. Okay. Now go back to your blueprints, go to Characters and Classes, and open up BP Player Character. What you're going to be doing if you don't have that open is you're going to go to your My Blueprint over here, and you're going to hit CAL or whatever, calculate, whatever you want to. You're going to open up the Calculate Movement Input. It's going to open up this function here. All right, so when it opens this function, let me explain what this function's doing. Okay, this calculates basically that how fast you're moving based upon what you're doing, and then it sets it and subtracts things from it, determining on what you're doing and your max speed and all that. So if you look at this, this node here and this node here is connected to and is crouched. That's a Boolean that's checking your input controls basically to see if you're crouched or not. And if you are crouched, pick A. So basically how this works is this sets different speeds. This is your run speed. This over here is an index. This over here is just your float node. This is your movement type. It just checks for your movement. And it's got walk, run, aim, and tactical sprint. So in here, what you're going to do is you're going to, first things first, let's comment so you can know what it is. Click on this node right here and hit C on your keyboard. It'll bring up comment. Put in crouch. Okay. Click this one. Put in ADS. This one's for your ADS. This one's for your crouch. This one, put a comment around it and put index. That way you know that that's indexing what state of run you're in. Okay. Then you're going to come over here and you're going to drag this out a little bit further. Okay. Give yourself some room, linear room. Okay. Now you're going to compile. Make sure you have it on the three settings. Like click the three dots here and go to save on compile on or save on compile on success only. That way, if you hit compile, you don't have to hit save afterwards. It does it for you if it's successful. If it's not successful, it won't save it. So that's just what I do, and you'll know if it's not going to save. You'll get an error. So now go back to PDA weapon settings data. Create a variable. Drop down, click the little plus sign next to that. Click create a variable. Let's call it weapon has weight. Okay. Boolean. Leave it there. Compile. Make sure this on your default value in the details over here is unchecked. That means it's every weapon you create from now on out will have a default unchecked because you don't want them all to have weight. Uh, and the ones that you do, you just turn it on. That's what this is for. Okay. There's more to this, but this is the start. You come over to the BP player character, go back to your calculate movement function, right click somewhere out here, and put in inventory. Get inventory system. Just want to put this on the screen. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to get current weapon. Or set current weapon, I think it is, or whatever it is. It's a current weapon. I don't remember if it's a weapon. I think it's this. Yeah, get this one. Sorry, it just looked weird. I forgot you got to do an extra step. So you right click this, okay, and then hit convert to validated get. This is going to say whether it's valid or not, okay. Then you're going to connect these to that. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to check your inventory system for your whoever's playing and see what weapon they have. And if it is valid, then it's going to run the code, and if it's not, then it ain't going to do anything. So now, out of this, you're going to want to create, you're going to drag off the is valid, and while you're holding it, hit B on your keyboard to create a branch. Okay. Now you're going to drag off a current weapon, and you're going to put in settings data. Get settings data. Okay. Now that you have the get settings data, drag off of it, and then reference to that variable, weapon has weight. You're going to get it. And then you're going to connect it to the condition. So now, what this does is it gets your current inventory, checks the weapon from the settings data. If it has weight, or that is valid, then it runs to the branch, and then the branch checks to see if it has weight or not. And if it does have weight, it will run this. But what I'll do is I'll put it on true or false, or whichever way you want to put it. So right now it's unchecked, meaning that if it does have weight, it will run on true. So just run it off of false and show you what it does. So now let's open up a data asset. Let's use the assault rifle. Okay. If you look down here, you'll see it's in a default weapon has weight. So to fix that, come back over to your weapons has weight, click on it in your PDA weapon settings data, where it says category, click that. And let's just type in weight. That's going to create a category for it so that we can keep it organized. Now, if you come back over here, you're going to see it's in a weight category now. So just check that. Let's just check it to make it true. Okay. Now let's hit play after we compile and see what happens. Okay. I got the assault rifle. I can't move. Look at that. See? Can't move at all right now. Okay. So I can still aim. I can do everything. I just can't move around. Because it won't let you because your weapon has weight and you have no settings for your weight yet to tell it to do anything. So now that we know that it's working, we'll come over here and we're going to run this to true. Okay, and then we're going to compile. And then we're going to try to play it again. Now I can move around. See? Move around, aim, do all kind of stuff. Crouch, change third person, all kind of good stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, that works. So now, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to create some more variables. And when creating these variables, you're going to have to understand what's what. So, you're probably wondering what the 1.0 and the 0.625 and all that is. So 1.0 is max speed. So you got max speed on the tactical screen. You got 0.8 on the run. If I was to put this on 0, you would, when you hit the run button, your character's just going to dead stop. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a weapon variable. So let's change this just to see which one it is. Let's put it on 0. Okay. Just so you guys can get familiar. I know which one it is, but I want to see if you guys can figure it out. Okay, so I'm going to move. So I can move. Okay, I can aim in and move. But when I crouch, I can't move. So now we know that this is the crouch speed. So that's a 1.0 crouch speed. So we're going to come back over to PDA and we're going to make another variable. We're going to make it a float. Okay, and then we're going to name it default crouch speed. Okay, and then we're going to have another, we're going to duplicate that and we're going to call it default walk speed. Okay, compile it back to BP character. Okay, now drag off of this, or not this one, but drag off your settings data and put in default, get default crouch speed, this one, default walk speed. So now we know that is the default crawl speed. So if I put it in here, remember to keep the numbers too. So like now that we have these out here and ready to go, if you connect that, it ain't going to know what these values are. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to go back to PDA. You're going to go default crouch speed. And you're going to make that default 1.0. Okay. And then you're going to go back and get this one, which is 0.625. So 0.625 on the walk speed. Compile. So now basically if you plug these in, it does the same thing that it already did. Okay, so if I hit compile and then I hit play, so it'll be basically just like standard. So crouching, moving around, no problem. Okay, but we don't want that. What we do want to do is we're going to take those off. Okay, now we're going to drag off of this and we're going to hit the plus sign, shift, and then the plus sign. We're going to hit add. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add this weapon weight. Or no, we don't got the weapon weight. Okay, we got to create another variable. Sorry about that. Make another one called weapon weight. Okay, let's make this one like 0.035. Okay, go back to your player character, drag off of this, weapon weight, get weapon weight. Let's move these around and make it a little better so we can see things. Okay, so now we're going to take these and then we're going to print string after, or not print string, we're going to run this into here. We know that's the top one was the crouch speed. And then we're going to copy this node, do the same thing. And then we're going to run that into there, and then run that into the weapon weight, and then run that into there. What this is going to do, or no, wait, we need to subtract, sorry. Subtract, sorry. So subtract from this, we need that, okay? Copy this. We're going to run that over there, and then run that up there, and then run these over here. Now we're going to see what it does. First things first, let's come over here and move this stuff over, just so we can have a better idea of what's going on. Let's add a print string. And let's move this by holding shift on your keyboard and clicking it, and then moving it right there. And then moving that. And then come from your return. Let's click it and then run into here. That way you just double click the line so you don't have to break the pin. And let's see what speed. It should put a speed over there in the left of what it does. It might even go backwards. So right now we're running it. See, 0.59. Crouching, we're running at 9.625. So it's different. See, it's definitely changed it. Okay. So how this works is the settings here. Let's change this to something a little more drastic. Let's go to the weapons. Wait. Okay. So we got that compiled. Let's open up. Oh, I don't even know why I closed that. Weapon. Where's the weight? Am I not seeing it? Or default, because I didn't put it in categories. So it's right here on categories. So I need to put these in categories. Sorry. I'm sick, guys. Let's see, weight. Put them all in that category. That way it's easy to find. See, that's why I'm saying it's easier to find it when you got it there. So you have weapon has weight, your default crouch speed, and then this is your weapon weight. So let's change that to let's change that to 1.0 just to see what happens. Now it's going to make me move backwards, see, because it's subtracting the negative difference. So if I hit W, I'm going backwards. If I hit S, I'm going forward. See, it's saying negative 3.75. That means I'm giving it 0.375 too much to make it even out. So that's, you just got to play around with these numbers and get it the right way. So weapon has weight. Let's change that back to 0.045. Let's go put 0.3. Let's see what happens on 0.3 on my crouch and walk speed should be the only thing that's changing. So now I'm moving at 3.25. See how slow I'm moving? It's horrible. Now if I crouch, it changed it to 0.7 instead of 1.0. So that's how you change it. So you'll just have to play around with these settings and get the right number for each weapon that you're going to use. So I'm going to put 0.035, okay? I'm going to leave that alone. Save. Okay. I'm going to come back over to my character. So now we have the default crouch weight set. And we have now we got to set the default ADS and the default ADSB. So let's go over here. Let's go default ADS. I'm just going to call it A. Okay. And I'm going to duplicate that. And then I'm going to call this one B. Just to keep it simple. You can name this whatever you want to name it. Don't forget, we got to put it in the category of weight. Compile. Go back to character. Come off of settings data. Hit default ADS-A. And then default ADS-B. And drag it up there. And do the same thing for these. Just move them down here. Come off of this. And then come off of your weapon that weight. Come on to the top one. And then come into your weapon weight. Okay. Don't forget to set these settings. So it'll be 1.0. So we know the first one, A, is 1.0. So just copy the second one. Go back into this one. The first one is 1.0. And the second one is 0.295. Hit save. Come back to your player character and just run this into A. And then run this one into B. Okay. Now, when you ADS, it should change the speeds of it as well. Yep. So it's changing. See, it changes on the left over there. Crouch down. Changes all that stuff. Okay. So that's working. So now we got to create some more data assets. Or not data assets, but variables. Create another variable. Call it default room. Create another one. Default tack. Okay. Put them in the group. Weight. Compile. Go back to player character. Come off of settings data. Default. Run. Set. Got to get default run. And default tack. Now, do the same thing. Copy two of them, paste them. And then I'd move them down, make them a little better looking. Okay, bring this in with that one, and that one into the top one. And bring this up to the weapon weight. And we come back from the weapon weight down to that one. Make sure you set these variables, so that's 0.8 and then 1.0. So your run needs to be 0.8 and then your run needs to be 1.0 and then save. Okay, and then now you can hook them up. You run it in the text print. Okay, now you're all set up for the weight for if it's true. Now we got to set one up for false. So now your run works, your sprint works. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, so that works. So now we need to create a false statement. So this, we're going to comment on this whole thing and call it wait system. Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy these nodes right here. That one all the way over to the is crouched one. Make sure they're all highlighted. We're going to come down here, we're going to paste it. Then we're going to move it over, make it look somewhat even. Okay, let's get rid of this print string. Let's go ahead and get rid of this print string too. Get rid of that node, shift on that, and bring it over to the return, and then get rid of the print. That way you don't have that on your screen anymore. That was just for testing purposes, and you can always add it back by coming off of this and connecting to it again. This right here. If you need to test it again, you can do that, or you can just leave the print string there, just not connected. But just remember, from true has to go to that return. So from false, we're going to come over here and go to that. Then you're going to set these default values, which we know was 0.8 and 1.0. Now, as far as these default values, you're going to have to come back up here and click on default crouch speed was 1.0. So we know that one was 1.0, not 0.0. 1.0 and then 1.0. We knew those top ones on each one of them was 1.0. Walk speed was 0.625. So make this 0.625. Okay. Come back up on here on your ADS B. Did we set the ADS B? I don't remember. But I think it was like, let's see if we set the ADS B. We didn't. But I think it was 0.195 or something like that, or two. Let's just make that one the same as the walk speed. So 625. That would be better because slowing down when you're ADS and sometimes is kind of weird. So let's just do that. 625. Okay. And then you can do the same thing down here. Just make it 625. Now, if it's false, it's going to run this code. Meaning if your weapon does not have weight checked, it's going to run this. If it does, it's going to run this. Compile and save. All right, so now we got weight. Now I'll pull out my pistol. See, it's not doing anything. Not running. Okay. So if this has weight, it's true. If it's false, it doesn't. So we got to go over here and look at our pistol. Check it. But all the default settings are not set for it, so it's going to be weird. So like, see what happens when I press something? It don't, like when I try to run, it ain't going to do nothing. If I crouch, it's not set right. So you'll have to come into these because these weapons that was already created are not going to have the default settings for run. So you have to put 0.8 and then 1.1.0 and then 1.0, and those should be pretty good. Now if we hit play, I can run, so I can do everything you want. just got to make sure you set those weapon settings. Well, and that's that. So yeah, that concludes the video. Just make sure everything's taken care of. Oh, this right here. Get rid of that node. Copy this node. Oh yeah, now I know why it wasn't working when that was true. Because this return node wasn't hooked up to here. So bring it all the way up to that and hook it up. It's got to be hooked up to. Or if you don't want to do that, come over here on this, double click that, and then drag off of that down to the top of that, which would be better for you instead of having it go all the way there. And you can organize these however you want to organize them, you know. And that's it. So now you can go in here and uncheck anything that don't have weight, and then hit play. And it won't matter the settings that it has. If the weight's not checked, it's just going to run the normal code. See? So it'd be basically just like the stock default template kit. So you can run normal speeds if you don't have weight. That way, if you have like a knife or something and whatever, you know, you don't have to worry about all that. Or maybe you do. Maybe you want somebody to run like a turtle when they got a knife. I don't know. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Maybe drop me a comment, man. Helps me out. Share it. You guys have a good day.